First Vice President of Azerbaijan, Mehriban Aliyeva, arrived to attend the groundbreaking ceremony of a new modern residential complex for the internally displaced families 3 kilometers east from Lokbatan-Gobu highway in the northeast of Lokbatan settlement of Garadagh district. Deputy Prime Minister, Chairman of the State Committee for Refugees and Internally Displaced Persons Ali Hassanov told Azerbaijan's first Vice President Mehriban Aliyeva, who was reviewing the master plan of the residential complex, the plan of the school and kindergarten to be constructed here, that 11 9-story buildings would be built under the construction project. The residential buildings will have 1,026 flats. The total area of the flats will be 73,004 square meters. 1, 2, 3 and 4 room flats will be constructed. All flats will be repaired and fitted with kitchen furniture. 1,026 internally displaced families will be provided with flats at the new residential complex. The residential complex also includes 3-story school for 624 school children, kindergarten for 220 kids and a medical point. A recreation park, playgrounds will be built here. The activities carried out by President Ilham Aliyev to ensure Azerbaijan's territorial integrity, work done to improve living conditions of refugees and internally displaced persons, show that our compatriots falling under this category are cared for. The fact that refugees and internally displaced persons are moved from temporary residential sites and camps to modern settlements is the manifestation of the state care for this people. State programs have been adopted to improve welfare of refugees and internally displaced persons. Significant measures taken to increase social benefits. One of the important steps taken in this direction was the conference chaired by First Vice President Mehriban Aliyeva regarding relocation of refugees and internally displaced persons from hostels in Baku and Sumgayit held on March 9th. Making a speech, Mehriban Aliyeva underlined that a number of internally displaced families were still living in hard conditions. Additional and urgent steps should be taken to accelerate the work. She said all internally displaced families living in unsafe buildings in Baku and Sumgayit must be provided with new flats. Mehriban Aliyeva laid the foundation of the residential complex for internally displaced persons in Garadagh district. The residential complex will be inaugurated in April of 2018. A new road will be built in the territory of the complex. Azerbaijan's first vice president delivered a speech at the groundbreaking ceremony of the residential complex for internally displaced persons, noting that for more than 20 years over 1 million Azerbaijanis had been suffering from Armenia's military aggression and occupation. Mehriban Aliyeva said the problems faced by our compatriots were always in the focus of the state's attention. The activities carried out in this direction since the early years of independence were top priorities of the state policy. Added that state program was adopted in 2004 to improve living conditions of our compatriots displaced from their native lands. Supplements to the program were approved in 2007 and 2011. More than 6 billion had been allocated to those activities. She mentioned that the people, refugees and displaced families living in camps had been relocated to up to 100 modern settlements. It means that living conditions of 50,000 families, more than 250,000 people were improved. Over the past 13 years, more than 400,000 refugees and internally displaced persons have been employed. Schools and kindergartens are being constructed in every settlement. The refugees studying at paid, higher and vocational educational institutions have been freed from tuition fees, said Azerbaijan's first vice president, and underlined that the Azerbaijani state had a rare and unique experience in demolishing camps, preventing humanitarian disaster, and the international organizations highly appreciate it, noting that despite of the work done, there still were unresolved problems in that sphere. Mehriban Aliyeva said thousands of people were still living in unsafe buildings in Baku and Sumgayit. First Vice President mentioned that during the conference in March, instructions were given to work out plan of measures to relocate 4,000 families from unsafe buildings in the first stage. Said 3 buildings were under construction in Masazor settlement of Absheron district, 1 in Ramana settlement of Sabunchi district, 5 buildings in Sumgayit city, and site had been allocated for the construction of 5 other buildings. The modern residential complex, the foundation of which is being laid, is the contribution of our country's private sector. I believe that it is very good that along with the state, businessmen entrepreneurs are also ready to give support, said Mehriban Aliyeva, and highly appreciated this initiative, invited other companies as entrepreneurs working in Azerbaijan to support this initiative. She said it was the continuation of charity traditions of the Azerbaijani people, called it the demonstration of our people's solidarity, power and development of our state. Mehriban Aliyeva expressed her confidence that Armenia-Azerbaijan Nagorno-Karabakh conflict would be resolved soon and our compatriots would return to their native lands, said the Azerbaijani state would create necessary infrastructure in the liberated lands and restore our towns. First Vice President Mehriban Aliyeva expressed congratulations on the months of Ramadan and wished peace and prosperity to the Azerbaijani people. Deputy Prime Minister, Chairman of the State Committee for Refugees and Internally Displaced Persons Ali Hassanov said large-scale activities were started immediately after the conference on the improvement of housing conditions of 4,000 internally displaced families living in unsafe buildings in Baku and Sumgait. He said the groundbreaking ceremony of the residential complex for displaced families was the continuation of those activities. Ali Hassanov noted that at the request of the Heydar Aliyev Foundation, 210 flats had been allocated by a number of private companies and final work was being done there. Added that the State Committee for Refugees and Internally Displaced Persons was continuing construction of 4 residential buildings for 260 families and the construction would be completed in July. Ali Hassanov said after the first conference chaired by Mehriban Aliyeva, thousands of displaced persons appealed to the committee and expressed their gratitude to Azerbaijan's first vice president for care. Project manager of Pasha Construction Company, Kamil Aliyev, also spoke about the state care for our compatriots displaced as a result of Armenia-Azerbaijan Nagorno-Karabakh conflict. He said committed to the first vice president Mehriban Aliyeva's views to continue charity traditions of the Azerbaijani people. Pasha Construction had decided to contribute to the activities aiming to improve living conditions of refugees and displaced people. He expressed his confidence that the construction of the new residential complex would be completed in time. Internally displaced person from Shusha region, Vasila Khalilova, said the social policy initiated by the nationwide leader Heydar Aliyev was being continued successfully by President Ilham Aliyev. Solutions of the problems of refugees and IDPs were top priorities of that policy, underlined that contributions of President of the Heydar Aliyev Foundation Mehriban Aliyeva and Vice President of the Foundation initiative the Justice for Khojaly campaign Leyla Aliyeva, saying that one of the first executive orders signed by President aimed at improving living conditions of refugees and IDPs, state program had been adopted to increase employment. First Vice President Mehriban Aliyeva's first conference was dedicated to the social problems of IDPs. Vasila Khalilova expressed gratitude on behalf of the displaced people for the work done.